David Benavidez is going to destroy Anthony Yarde, and it's not even going to be close. Now, this is definitely an intriguing matchup as both these guys have pretty decent name value. As starting off with Anthony Yarde, he's faced some of the top guys in the 175-pound division, as he's been in this division for a long time now and has a decent name in the UK scene. So there's going to be a lot of eyes watching this fight against him and Benavidez. As like I said before, he's been around for a while and faced some top guys like Yarde, where he put up a decent showing in that fight but ultimately got stopped and lost that fight. As this is kind of the last shot for Anthony Yarde to really win a world title, as Benavidez holds the WBC light heavyweight belt. And if Anthony Yarde can beat Benavidez, then that would be great for him. As like I said before, this is kind of his last shot to get that chance, as Anthony Yarde is definitely on the back end of his career now at 34 years old. And if he loses this one, then I don't really know what would be next for him, as he's been around for so long and has had a few chances, so this is kind of his last shot to get that. Now on the other hand, for Benavidez, this fight is massive, as this is a good test to see where Benavidez really does stand at that top level in this 175-pound division. As like I said before, Yarde has faced some of the top guys like Yarde, and Benavidez is chasing a shot against those guys like Beterbiev and Bivol. So this is a good test to see where he kind of ranks in like a triangle theory fight against Anthony Yarde, as to see if he can beat him better than Beterbiev did. As if Benavidez wins this fight and can win it in a good fashion, then it should definitely get him a shot against one of those guys, as I think both those guys are injured at the moment as well, so this definitely gives them some time to see what really is next for him. And if he does win, then he definitely deserves that shot at Undisputed, or at least against one of the big names like Beterbiev or Bivol. Now for Anthony Yarde, what are the chances of him actually winning this fight? Now I think Anthony Yarde has a decent chance early on to win this bout, as I think Anthony Yarde has some great punching power in this division, as 24 of his 27 wins are from knockouts. And I think early on he's gonna have to make this a dogfight and make it ugly, as if he goes into a boxing chess match with Benavidez, he's just gonna get smoked. But if he can make it ugly and put the pressure on Benavidez early on, then it's gonna give him the best chance of winning this fight, as I think the longer it goes on, the worse it's gonna get for him. But one thing for Anthony Yarde is he's a tough guy, so I think that's gonna help him as well in his matchup, and he's just gonna have to get in there and try his best, because when facing a guy like Benavidez, it's never going to be easy. But we've seen Benavidez get clipped before, as he's been knocked down twice in his career and got hurt a few times against Morel. So there definitely is ways for Anthony Yarde to win this fight. As like I said, I don't think he's gonna win in a boxing match, and I think the earlier he can try and get Benavidez out of there is gonna be his best option, as I don't think he has a puncher's chance, but I think a knockout is definitely the only way I can see him winning this one. But you never know, as boxing can be surprising sometimes. I think if he can make it like his last fight against Lyndon Arthur, where he kind of just smothered him and made it ugly and not really the most exciting fight, but he won, I think that can also give him a good chance of winning as well. As if he were to win a decision somehow, I think that's the only way I can really see it happening. But early on, Benavidez is definitely going to have to be wary of Anthony Yarde's power, as early on is where Anthony Yarde is going to be most devastating, and have his best chance of clipping Benavidez in this matchup. Now on the other hand, for Benavidez, I think he's just going to have to do what he normally does, as he's just going to have to bring that pressure and combination punching like he always does in his fights, as I can see Benavidez just teeing off on Anthony Yarde throughout this whole entire matchup, as Benavidez is definitely the far superior boxer between the two, as his hand speed and combination and ring IQ is just next level, which makes him one of the best boxers on this planet right now. Now in talks of a stoppage, I don't know if I can see that happening, but there's definitely ways for it to happen, as Yarde has been stopped twice in his career, and maybe later on in the fight Benavidez can get a stoppage of Anthony Yarde just kind of being tired from the pressure, as I don't really see Benavidez getting a one-punch knockout on Anthony Yarde, as his power hasn't been the same since he stepped up to 175. But with all the muscle mass on Anthony Yarde, maybe Benavidez can slow him down and get him out of there later on in this matchup, as his pressure in the ring is just insane. And I don't know if Anthony Yarde will be able to deal with that, as Beterbiev stopped Yarde with his pressure, so Benavidez might be able to do the same. But we're really just gonna have to see how Anthony Yarde does in this matchup, as I think early on is gonna tell us everything about this fight, as I think both guys are gonna be decently cautious maybe in the beginning for the first couple of rounds, but after that it's gonna definitely get ugly. Now I wouldn't say this is a 50-50 fight, I definitely have to give the edge to Benavidez, maybe like a 75-25, as realistically Benavidez should win this fight. If I had to throw money on it, I would pick Benavidez to win, but in boxing you never know obviously what can happen, and a guy like Anthony Yarde with some big punching power can definitely change what everyone thinks and rewrite the story. But from what we've seen from both these guys, Benavidez is the clear favorite right now, and I think this fight for Benavidez means a lot more to him, as this is a guy Benavidez needs to get past to get to that next level in this division, and then be able to face off against a guy like Beterbiev or Bivol. But for Anthony Yarde, this obviously means a lot to him as well, as he wants to win that world title and shake up the world. But I just don't see him winning, and I think Benavidez is going to take this one, as Benavidez is just too good for Anthony Yarde, as I think his speed and combination punching is going to tire Anthony Yarde out in this fight and make him lose. But all in all, this is going to be a great fight between these two, and I know both these guys are going to bring that fire and try and get that knockout, as both these guys like to fight and like to make it ugly and get that stoppage victory, which is going to lead to an exciting fight for the fans. Now let me know what you guys think about this matchup down below, and what do you think about both guys' chances of winning winning this fight, and if you had to pick someone, who are you going to pick and how are they going to win?